Tingles with flyby. Hello my tinglings. Today I wanted to show you how to play a few different card games. I'm not quite sure exactly how long it'll take to teach the rules of each. So I have 3 games in mind, but we'll see what we get through. I will do some shuffling and cutting as we're going through as well, but our primary focus is learning how to play the games. Now the first game I'm going to teach you, you'll kind of see, if you can see in this deck, you can see it's very unevenly worn. So this is very specifically for this game because otherwise it wouldn't really work. I'm going to take this off. And we don't need jokers. So I'm not going to remove the cards yet. We'll get to that in a little bit. So the game that I want to teach you is a game called Schnapsen. So in my family, particularly on my dad's side, very big card playing family, and so playing cards is a large way that we kind of socialize and all that. And so there's one of the games I'll show you later if we get to the 3rd game. It's a 4-person game, and I actually spearheaded a tournament at one of our family reunions for playing that game. But one of the issues we always had, me and my dad, because I lived with my dad, just the 2 of us, after I was 13, was that we didn't really know any good 2-player games to play. And so I've always wanted a good 2-player game. So a few years ago, discovered this game, which is called Schnapsen. So I'm going to kind of assume you know nothing about cards, so that anybody could pick this up. So we'll be starting very basically. So I'm going to describe every term. So if you've never played a single game of cards, then you should hopefully be able to learn this game. Okay, so I'm just going to go into what a trick is. Should we start there? We won't start there. Let's start with the deck. So for the deck, so this is a normal 52 card deck. Mirror, whatever you want. You can probably see here these lower numbers are not being used, and that's why they look a little bit cleaner. So I'm just going to take those ones out. So I'll just take them out, and then so you're going to remove every card that's between 2 and 9. It's easy for me because I just look at the non-dirty cards, but we'll double check once we're done to make sure we have all the cards we need. Okay, so let's put those ones to the side. So we should have 4 aces. We'll make sure we have those. 3, 4. 4 aces. So in this game, the next highest number is a 10. So it goes ace, 10. So it's also, you can use what's called a German deck or a French deck. I've never used either, so I don't know a lot about it. But so we have aces, 10s, next, and then it goes king, queen, jack. So pull our kings. Got those, all 4. And for anybody, well, I guess I'll go through the suits as well. So suit is spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds. A lot of games that you don't really have a rank between what's highest. If we get to the second game, then that one does. I'm kind of thinking if I'm going in detail pretty much, so this may just be this one game, but that's okay. It's great because it's just a 2-person card game, and it's a really engaging game. Anyway, you'll see. Okay, so ace, that's just the most important things to remember. Ace, 10, queen, king, queen, jack. That's your order. And then, so jack is your lowest, ace is your highest. Then there are points associated with each card as well, because the whole point of Schnapsen is to try and take 66 points. You also have to declare, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So, aces are worth 11 points. 10s are worth 10 points, quite easy. And then, so basically you just have to remember that ace is kind of 1, so it's 1 better than 10. And then kings are 4, queens are 3, jacks are 2. So then you just basically remember that king is 4, and then it just goes down from there. So it shouldn't be too hard to remember there. So I'm going to show you first how you deal for this. So normally you would offer your deck to be cut by the other party, so I would hand it to you, but I'll do the cutting. So then you deal 3 cards to each player. As I said, this is just a 2-player game. And then you get 1 card face up. So when this card is put face up, this now tells you what trump is. So when any other... So for normal trick-taking games, which this is, if you're playing... So this is a heart. So let's say if you play a club, then if I can't play a club, then you would take it because I can't play something that's higher. It's always kind of the highest takes it. But trump, even the lowest of trump, is always higher than any other card. So that's what the trump would be for this time. So when you're dealing, you deal 3 cards here, 3 cards here. You deal 1 face up to determine the trump suit. Then you do 2 cards to each player, and the rest is put here as a draw pile. supposed to be done crosswise, like this. It's supposed to be kind of like that. Yeah. I haven't played in a little while. And then this is called the Talon. So that'll come necessary later. So I'm just going to put the hands face up just so you have a little bit better idea of kind of what's going on and how you play. But so as I said, there's certain ways to take different points. So ace is 11, king is 4, jack is 2, queen is 3. And then ace is 11, 10, 10, 4, 3. So those are kind of, you're just starting basically with that. So in lots of trick-taking games, if, for example, you lead out with the ace, then normally I would have to play, if you play the ace of spades, then normally I would have to follow suit, which means if you lay spades, then I have to lay spades. There are 2 phases in Schnapsen. In this first phase of Schnapsen, you don't have to follow suit at all. So I could, for example, just throw on this queen if I didn't want that queen. Or I could be like, oh, well, I would like that ace, so I could trump that. Even though I have a spade. There are some games, well, later you have to follow suit. But right now, while the Talon is open, so when this card is visible, like this, the Talon is considered open. So while the Talon is open, basically you can lay whatever card you want. And so you put that out like that. But so that's just the first example of how the play works. So the next thing that really matters is what's called a marriage. And so a marriage, if it is not trump suit, so remember for this example, our trump is hearts. So a marriage of a non-trump suit is worth 20 points. A marriage in the trump suit is worth 40 points. And again, you're trying to be the first person to 66 points and to declare that. I'll get into the scoring a bit later. But for example, so in your hand, you have, so a marriage is the king and the queen. Pretty easy to remember. You think about a king and a queen getting married. And so what you would do, if this was your turn, you would say, okay, I want to declare a marriage. You show both cards, and then you play one of the cards. You just have to show both of them. You don't have to take any of the tricks. So obviously king and queen are quite low. So if you lay the king out there, if I take it with my 10, you still get the marriage points. There is a caveat that if you don't have any points yet, the marriage only counts once you've actually taken a trick. So remember, taking a trick is just when you win, when you lay the highest card that follows suit, and then you're the one who takes the cards. So we'll give an example. So let's say you did do that. So you said, okay, I mean, if I was you, that's something I would do. I would say, okay, I'll declare marriage. Maybe lay the queen down because you might be able to get a few more points with the king. And then I'll think, okay, well, may as well grab a few points there and save my 10. So I take that. So when you take your cards, they do have to go face down. Part of the skill of Schnapsen is remembering what your score is. So how much you've scored. You can't go back and check your cards So once they've gone face down, you can't go back and look at them. So that's another important thing to know. Other important thing to know. So for this game, you also have a trump jack. So what that means is, so you have right here the lowest jack, which we would still have our cards right now because you draw after. I'll get into that in a second. But so you lay, if you wanted to, before your turn, so before you did your marriage, oh, I should have done that way so you could still have your marriage. Okay. Give up the cards back the right way. So when you have the Jack of Trump, you can trade that for this card. So you can put this here, take that in your hand. You can only do that when it's your turn to lead. So since I dealt to you, you automatically get to lead first off. For me as the dealer, I have to wait until I take a trick, and then it's my turn to lead. So, that is that. Trump Jack, marriage, royal marriage. Okay, and then we'll just go through a simple type thing. Okay, so let's say, so you declare a marriage, then lay the queen, I lay the 10 here, then after every turn here, in this stage of the game, you always draw a card. So I would draw a card first, because I'm the one who won that one, and then you would draw a card second. So something you'll probably be keeping an eye on when you kind of get used to the game a bit more is if there's going to be a royal marriage. Well, so in this example, so you would have taken the queen there, and you would think, oh, well, I'll be looking out for that king. Once I've got the king in my hand, I'm thinking, well, I know for sure you're not going to get a royal marriage then at least. So that's good. So I'm just showing this to you. In the real game, we wouldn't be checking back. But so I have 13 points here. So I'm thinking I need 53 more points. You know that you have kind of 20 in the bank once you take a trick. So then it would be my turn to go here. I would probably go, because see, with these ones, you kind of want to hang on to something to see if you might get a marriage. So you would do that, and then you would take that. So you would have 13, and you would have 33. So we'll get into a little bit more on the scoring there. Well, no, we'll go to that later. So, other important part. I wouldn't recommend it for either of us at this point. No, probably not. The other part is closing the Talon. So to close the Talon, you have to be leading. So as it was with being able to trade out this card, you take a trick, and then it's your turn to lead. So when you lead, you can also close the Talon. So that's, you basically that's your way to symbolize that you're closing the Talon. When you close the Talon, it means that nobody will be drawing any further cards. And so basically you think that you are going to get 66 points based on just what you have in your hand. And there's reasons to close the Talon earlier. So, for example, right now, you haven't taken any tricks. So if I won, I would get extra points for that. We'll go into the scoring later. But there are reasons that you would want to close the Talon to get more points, and you can also stop the other person from being able to get the points that they needed, that sort of thing. The other thing that really, so kind of, you know how it was really free before while the Talon was open? You could lay whatever you want. In this part, it is very, very strict what you do. So you actually have very little choice. When you lead out, you have a bit of a choice, but as the person not leading, you have pretty much no choice in what you're doing. And I'll show you what I mean. So, for example, well, I don't have a spade, but let's say I had the Queen of Spades. We know you already played that, but that's okay. If I play the Queen of Spades, you have to stay in the suit, first of all, if you have the suit. If you're out of the suit and you have trump, you have to lay trump. So you basically, if you have at all a chance to take the card that I've laid out, you have to do it. So a good example would be if you lay this queen, or let's say you lay this jack. This is a good example. So if you lay this jack, if you look at my hand, I don't have any spades. So I have to follow suit first. Well, I can't follow suit. So my next option is I have to try to take it if I can. And because we know that trump would be higher than any other suit, and I still have trump, I am forced to play trump. I don't have to play my highest card, so I do have an option still there. I just have to do the highest that would be required to take that trick. So it's very strict. You have to take the trick if you can at all possible. So there's ways to really, there's a lot of strategy involved with that, with when you close and what you kind of try to draw out of the other person, what you think they might have, that sort of thing. So that is closing. So we did closing. We know what the points are. We've gone through all the points. Okay, I think that will then go into the scoring. So once you have closed or not closed, even if you have this open, if you think that you've hit 66, then you claim the win. So when you claim, you get a certain number of points. First you have to count. You can then look at your cards and see how many points you've actually gotten. And so if you haven't gotten 66, then your opponent gets 2 game points or 3 game points if your opponent hasn't taken a trick. And there's kind of a mirror there, which I'll show you. So if you're correct, you get 1 point if your opponent has got at least 33 points. So the minimum that you can get if you're the first to 66 and claim it is 1 point. So that's what, when I was saying the marriage and then that you had 13 points, because that would be 33 points. That's why, because that decreases the point amount to only one game point. If the opponent has taken at least 1 trick, but hasn't made 33 points, then you get 2 game points. And if your opponent hasn't taken a trick at all, and you have 66, then you get 3 points. So if you opt to close the Talon and then do not reach 66 points by the time all the cards are gone, then you get, it's the same, so it's basically your opponent gets 2 points, or they get 3 points if they hadn't taken a trick when you closed the Talon. So if you close the Talon and the other person has no tricks, you want to make sure that you're going to get there, because otherwise they'll get 3 game points, which is quite a lot. So the scoring works kind of on a negative, so both people start with 7 points, and whatever points you win are then subtracted from your score. So you're trying to be the first person to 0. So yeah. So that's basically the game. So I'll go ahead, why don't I just redeal one, and we'll do one example hand. It'll be a little hard because I'll be playing both sides, but just see what we can do. A little harder to shuffle a small deck, actually. These are also very worn cards. 11. I've actually played Schnapsen quite a bit. Not in a while, but it's a fun game. Okay. So again, 3, 3, trump, 2, 2, and then the Talon goes down. So then I would look at my hand, and I would think, oh, I have the Ace of Spades, that looks okay. I have 21 points there if I can take them. No marriages though, so I'm looking to see if we can get anything in there. In your hand, I have 10. Turn that around for you. So 10, King, Jack of Diamonds, no trump at all. So probably if I was you, I would probably lead off with the Jack. It's always good kind of if you don't know what might be happening. So again, on my side, I can play any card I want because the Talon is still open. So even though I have a diamond, I could lay this, I could throw anything on. But I'll probably lay the Queen just because I have 3, 4, 5 points then. So I'm going to have to be keeping track of 2. I may check the cards because I'm keeping track of 2 at once. And then we would draw. So I would draw first. It's a lovely card, meaning the jacks are awful. And you draw second. So then I would probably lay this jack. And you would think, oh, that's a good opportunity to take this 10. Or maybe you'd lay the ace. It's just, well, it doesn't really matter. It's shuffle, so probably better. So then you have 13. So then, I'll keep your cards clean there. Oh, good for you. For me, see now that I have the King of Spades, I'll be looking to get that Jack to see if I can get a royal marriage because that's 40 points. So, your turn. So you would probably declare a marriage and then probably lay the Queen. And I would think, well, I'm really gunning for that royal marriage. I don't want to use my ace, so I would give that to you. So you had 13 there, and then you got 4 and 3, so 7. So that's 20, 40. So I'd be thinking, oh, I hope you're not going to get more points here. So then you draw, you get a Jack of Hearts. It's not very exciting. And this is where I cry because I just got rid of my King of Hearts. So I just lost my opportunity for a marriage. So you would probably go with the King of Clubs. I would think, well, I already know I've lost this, so I'll give that to you. That gives you 7 more points. So you know you're at 47. So then you draw, you get the 10 of, but you wouldn't think you could do that, so. And I would probably be thinking here, well, it's your turn, so, because you took the last one, didn't you? Yes, you did. So you would probably lay, probably the Jack of Hearts, and then I would go, see, I would think, well, I need that to be able to get 66 points. And I would think, oh, I know you have at least 40 plus points. So if I give you 10, that gets you pretty close to 60. But then I'm thinking, so I'll probably go the 10. So the reason I've done that is because I need the 40 points, or else I have no chance of getting any points. So you would take that, that would give you 12 points, so you would be up to 59. So you just need 7 points. So you would get the Jack of Spades, I would get the Queen of Spades. So you would be thinking, what's going to be the best way for you to beat me? So you would probably have a pretty good idea that I have the Ace of Spades. So you would probably think, play the 10. Yeah, that's what I would do. Play the 10. Because you'd probably know that clubs are out. So then I would think, okay, well, I have to try and take it. So I go there, and that gives me 21. No, is that going to be the best thing? Anyway, we'll just go with it. I may not have played their best move for you, because you probably know that I have the royal marriage as well. Because I would then say, okay, I declare a royal marriage, and I'll close. So 40, 50, 61, 64, 66, right on. So that's kind of how it goes. It's a little bit different. Oh, that's the other thing. When all the, so I know we didn't close it at the end. When all the cards are gone, that's the same as if the Talon was closed. So you have to play it strict once all the cards are gone as well. So that's basically how you play Schnapsen. It's a fun game. It's got a lot of strategy in it and a lot of memorizing kind of what you've got going on. And we'll put these decks back together. You can just see now how dirty the cards are that I've played with versus the ones that I haven't. if you do play, let me know. Keen to see what you guys think of it. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I will try to answer any questions you have. And I will also put a link in the description box to the rules that I used to learn it from. And we will have another card playing game where we use a full deck, and I'll use these Boston cards because they have more even use. So, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Goodbye, my tinglings. Thanks for